Hello and welcome to Hell's Gate Podcast. This is Dominick, Panetta. I'm here in the studio with two great friends of mine, Hunter Pruett. Say hi, Hunter.
Hi, it's me.
You've
Hunter.
met him before, you know.
I'm back.
I got a new person in the studio today, a good friend of mine, Logan Brannigan.
What's going on, Hell's Gate audience?
So obviously we know Hunter and that he has done absolutely nothing with his life. But what are you doing right now, Logan? Let's get to know you a little bit for the people that don't know you.
Well, I am currently working as a custodian at one of the old high schools I used to attend to, and I'm also going in for college for an associate's degree in video production.
Which is cool. And what's your career goal?
So my career goal is to I shouldn't say somewhat. I want to learn the craft of filmmaking and just filming in general, just maybe like do a music video or such. But my main goal is to make a short movie and put it into a movie festival and just see where it goes from there and just hope for the best.
That's a realistic goal, and I think that's very important when it comes to life, is setting realistic goals, things that you can achieve. And obviously you can have your big aspirations and dreams, but setting those realistic goals is very important for everybody.
Hallelujah, man.
All right, so let's get into some wrestling.
Oh boy.
I think we are going to talk about Fastlane because there are some things that I wanted to discuss. Obviously, Tony isn't in the studio today. He's got a basketball game that he's got to do. So, we have our priorities in check. But hey, Slim Tone, sometimes he
Slim Town.
And a man's got to do what he's got to do, man. We all have busy schedules.
Oh
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Hunter, what do you think about the main event? The Shield beating Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin.
I think it's pretty obvious that they were going to have the Shield win from the start just because, Roman Reigns is back and it's Roman Reigns. I'm really hoping Dean Ambrose goes to the new wrestling, AAW. That's what I'm pulling for at least. But I don't think it's going to be the last match, most definitely. I was planning on seeing Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns. I thought Dean Ambrose was going to actually attack Seth Rollins, but I was completely wrong so far. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, you never know. Logan, what did you think about it?
So, Hunter, you made a good point for Dean kind of turning heel and having Dean and Roman at Mania. The thing is if Dean were to attack Seth again, it would just kind of be like a rerun for like a couple months back, which that feud, it was just not good at all. Like
right.
They didn't even try to like have it be like a Stone Cold or Undertaker type feud, which they did like back in 2001, which was insane. But as for them, like in the main event, I mean, you could clearly understand why they put him in the main event, of course, because he's Roman Reigns and the Shield. And of course you knew they were going to win, wherever else. And it's clear as day that the WWE is still wanting to push him almost John Cena 2.0, but like it might even be like 3.0 at this point because he's getting more push than Cena has ever gotten, pretty much. This fast, I should say.
No, you're right. I agree. I'm not sure about the Stone Cold Undertaker analogy just because, Stone Cold and Undertaker were their own beasts when it comes to, like, they were, like, just mega stars. And so basically what I'm trying to say is you would pull someone who has never watched wrestling in their life, and they probably still know who The Undertaker is and who Stone Cold is.
Yeah.
Even back then, even while they were still wrestling.
Yeah.
But not if you pull someone aside who doesn't know wrestling and say, hey, who's Dean Ambrose, who's Seth Rollins, they will have absolutely no idea who they are. I think that's definitely indicative of like where wrestling's at as far as like their main top guys right now.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of give and take. What are you going to do for the WrestleMania main event? I think they're going to probably have Roman involved in some capacity.
Yeah. And to clarify about the Undertaker and Stone Cold feud, I was talking about of when Stone Cold turned heel.
Okay.
At WrestleMania 17.
On the Rock,
and they had like this pretty brutal match at Judgment Day. That's what you call a blood feud.
Oh, absolutely.
With like them being like personal, and of course Dean taking shots at Roman, who had cancer. I'm happy that Roman is in remission and he doesn't have to deal with it. I respect him for going through that, but that's, you would kind of expect that from a blood feud, like them like literally like hating each other, even
taking
like
pot shots.
Like even with Triple H and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 25. I mean, like the match probably wasn't that as good as people thought it would be, but you had Triple H coming to Randy Orton's house
Right.
You don't see that nowadays.
Yeah, you're definitely right there.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you have some negative feelings, not about Roman Reigns as a person, but not about Joe Noi. I don't know how to say his last name. Sorry. Very famous wrestling family, but I didn't know how to say the last name of.
Yeah.
But I noticed you had some particular feelings about how Roman gets pushed and like how he's kind of their top guy no matter what, and as soon as he comes back, he gets that push. So personally, I'll just say my opinion first. I don't think that it's the wrong move right now because obviously it's a comeback story. Everyone likes comeback story. He's coming back from cancer, which is like so relatable for so many families in the United States, and it's super. It'll draw a lot of money if he's in the main event at WrestleMania, and if he's like, the comeback story. He really has the cancer army behind him, which sounds like really. I don't know why I just used that analogy. Cancer army. I wouldn't want a cancer army behind me, but you get what I'm saying. People.
Oh yeah.
Just people supporters of him, and like supporters of people that have had cancer, and like, there are tons of people that have died, and the people that survive are special human beings.
Yeah.
So I think now is the time to capitalize and push Roman Reigns, but I'm gonna ask you guys. Cause I know Logan, I know how you feel about this, but I guess I'll start with Hunter or do you want time to formulate your precise thoughts?
I'm good. I'm ready.
All right, yeah, go ahead, dude.
I think pushing Roman Reigns right now is definitely the most profitable way, and it's so hard not to dislike the push, in my opinion, just because like you got to feel for the guy. Like he had cancer, he has a family. There's nothing you can say like, oh, I don't like him. I mean, you can say that, but you can't throw any like shade at him. Like you can't be like, oh, you suck, you're weak because you were out for. I'm not making fun of this, but you get what I mean. Yeah, literally. I mean, that's pretty much how I would say it. So I've always liked Roman Reigns. I didn't like the push he had with like 3 fighting
beforehand. Yeah, I just think it's different now.
Fighting Brock 3 times at WrestleMania, and the same thing happening almost 3 times.
Right. Context is everything, in my opinion. Like that's why I'm okay with it. It's just because of the context of the situation.
Yeah, I completely understand where you guys are coming from with that. I mean, I've had members in my family go through cancer and whatever else, and it's very sad, just seeing people go through that kind of stuff, and like you feel helpless, because you can't help them out, and you can't even really think of what the person with cancer is feeling.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, yeah, as I said, I'm very happy that he's cancer free as of right now. That's great for him. But I mean, I could see why WWE would still try to push him because they want to capitalize on him being that over.
Right. Yeah. This is the first time he's really been over since he was his initial run with the Shield.
Oh yeah, exactly. And man, my thing with Roman Reigns is like he was one of the main reasons why I kind of just like stopped giving WWE my viewership. I mean, I obviously still go through like reviews and like clips and whatever
and
else.
Keep up on the show. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I don't watch now. I watch Raw every week and SmackDown and NXT. But it's easy to Raw is 3 hours long.
Yeah, 3 hours.
It's very easy to like be like, I really don't feel like watching that.
Yeah,
especially when the product's so in the garbage right now.
Yeah,
they should have just kept the 2 hour on instead of making it 3 hours.
Oh yeah,
they could have definitely made the matches a lot better with those 2 hour spans. Now it's pretty much just
filler content.
Hey, if you subscribe to WWE Network, you can see this match next Wednesday. I know. Is it Wednesday? I don't even know if SmackDown's Wednesday or Raw's Wednesday.
It's Tuesday. SmackDown's Tuesday. Raw's Monday.
And don't forget.
That's my point.
Excuse me.
And don't forget, it only costs $9.99, folks. Do not forget that.
I thought that was honestly it was cheesy, but I really liked that campaign because it was just like funny. It's funny, cheesy.
Yeah, they were breaking the fourth wall bunch on that.
Yeah,
that's
funny.
But like the main reason why like I stopped giving WWE my viewership was when Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Like I thought that was like super, super cheap for them to go that far because obviously he wasn't really over. Like he was still getting heat from when he won the Rumble, like instead of Bryan at the time. And I don't know about you guys, but when I was still like interested, very intensely involved in wrestling.
Right, yeah.
I was pissed. I watched it live. I'm just like, really?
Yeah, it was just kind of spitting in the face of the fans a little bit.
And like him beating Undertaker's just like, okay, we see what you're trying to do, and I mean, obviously they have a fan base that like consistently watches like every single show. That's great for them to be consistent with it. But after that, I'm just like, okay, like I'm not a fan of like what they're trying to do. And like the biggest thing to do like for show, like let's say like Walking Dead, which was really good or whatever else. But once the product starts going bad, you got to hit them where the pockets are. And like, that's like not giving them their viewership. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've been doing. And obviously I've been, I sound like a broken record almost, but I've been keeping up with it. But still, like, I'm kind of like, yeah, this just isn't really going like the way that it used to be. And obviously times have changed.
Yeah.
So
I would like to establish that I don't want to get offhand here on The Walking Dead, but I think
go right ahead.
It's definitely coming back up in my opinion now with Daryl being the main guy. So I have faith in WWE, and I know that since the AEW is coming, they have to step up their game because right now the AEW has a really good roster in my opinion. So I'm pretty excited to see that, and I hope WWE steps it up. But if not, we have a new league now. So hey. That's my point on it.
Yeah, right. There's an alternate product where you can like actually watch it. Mm-hmm. Because with TNA, excuse me, hang on. After they like got off of Spike TV, I was unable to watch them. Like I couldn't find. Like obviously, I could find them online. That was the only time I was able to watch TNA. Because I didn't have their. At first, they were on like Pop TV, and now they're on like a different channel.
Yeah, they're on like a hunting channel right now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they're still on, right?
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're still present. But my point is, and obviously I didn't have access to Ring of Honor because I don't even know what channel you needed for that. So I didn't have access to other like top tier wrestling programs. You know what I'm saying? So WWE was that was it. It was WWE or nothing for me. So I watched WWE until they wore me out basically. And they ended up wearing me out. I can tell you that. Mm-hmm. I stopped watching around the time where NXT was like a reality show. Oh, it was kind of like that. Yeah. Obviously, Tough Enough was still on TV. Yeah. And NXT was like a competition show.
Oh,
instead of like a developmental territory. Yeah. So that's when I stopped watching, and that's when, in my opinion, the product fell off a little bit before that. But right then, when they like squashed Nexus, John Cena put his foot down and right onto Wade Barrett's throat, ironically, and that's about when I stopped watching around there. I kept informed, kind of like you have, but for a long time there, I was like taking a break. Now it's like NXT is something that I can watch weekly. It's on Hulu as well as the WWE Network, so I can watch it 2 different places if I want to. I don't know why I would ever do that. But yeah, it's on Hulu.
No way.
Yeah.
So I watch, and all of the best thing about it is their pay-per-views, takeovers, NXT takeovers, are all considered just regular NXT shows. So all the takeovers are on Hulu.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm a little bit sick, so that's why I'm kind of coughing a little bit, in case anybody's wondering. Nobody cares.
Welcome to Michigan, folks.
Right. The weather's changing again.
Yep. Yeah, Thursday's supposed to be 65, man.
I know. What is it, 38 today? Something like that?
It was 40 on my way here, so I was cruising with the windows down, singing some Zac Brown Band, Yeah. Yeehaw.
I got my toes in the water.
Yeah, so if we got any listeners in, let's say, like Georgia or Florida or California, and like you guys...
Kentucky.
Or and like Nashville, like you guys have all the great weather there, be super thankful for it, because I've had relatives that have come from like the South and wherever else, and they come up to Michigan and they're like, oh my gosh, it's really cold out here.
The part is I can handle the weather, the changing in weather, because I don't really care. But like the way it didn't used to when I was younger, but the way it affects my sinuses and like my health now, I'm always sick because Michigan just can't decide whether it wants to be warm or super cold. So when the weather spikes up like this, I have like so much drainage. And I'm coughing, and like it just is the worst.
Yeah,
I can establish for that. I see him a lot, but
yeah, it's terrible.
Man, this weather. If winter was like two months long, I think I might be okay.
Yeah,
but I don't even know then, because now that we're adults, we hate it. But when we were kids, it was okay because school got canceled, you would go outside
Yeah,
and play,
yeah.
play
Oh,
in the
yeah.
snow. But now it's just great. I have to drive through this, or the ice is everywhere. I have to go shovel. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
I want summer to be like 9 months.
Well, that would be a perfect world, and
It is in some places.
Yeah.
What's the coldest Hillsborough got this year?
Hillsborough's right around us right now. I saw they had like 20s, teens. I don't think
They don't
ever
get a lot of
us, so-
snow, but
Yeah, they don't get a lot of snow like us, but I assume when they do, it's pretty hard just because they're in the hills and it's just Amish. What are they gonna do? Put a plow on their horse? Yeehaw!
yeah, Hunter's dad lives in Hillsborough, Ohio, so that's why we're talking about that.
Yeah, that's the sticks of like Ohio, by the way.
It's a little slice of heaven
Yeah.
down there for sure. It's right on the border of Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's fantastic stuff.
Oh yeah. And speaking of Cleveland, like, have you guys ever heard of the TV show, the Drew Carey Show? I know it's like an older show. But
Yeah, I know
I
who
heard
Drew
of it.
Carey is.
Yeah, but they
Cleveland.
yeah, they're
This is for you.
Yeah, they are the theme song for it is called Cleveland Rocks. And
Yeah.
when I was in a theater production and I played a character from Cleveland, and I had some characters that were family members of mine, and I said, "Oh, this is our theme song," and of course it was the Drew Carey song "Cleveland Rocks." If you go watch, if you listen to that song, it's actually pretty cool.
Rock did a spoof of that.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, The Rock. When he was in his Hollywood rock phase,
Oh,
where he was
yeah.
like making fun of cities every night with his rock concerts, hilarious.
Yeah.
My favorite one was Toronto. Toronto.
I really liked Sacramento. He's like, leaving Sacramento, there I go. And
Yeah.
he talked about fat women.
Oh,
like,
man.
it was just so funny.
Those were the days.
Oh, yeah, man. That's the stuff that brought us into the product,
Mhm.
pretty much, man.
Yeah, that was like the prime of me watching wrestling. That
Heck
particular
yeah.
period.
Yeah.
I very much miss the Raw logo from back then.
Oh, yeah. And, I've gone, like, the last WWE event I went to, it was, like, the last, like, big storyline I knew that was going on was, Big Show and Randy Orton at, like, an Extreme Rules pay-per-view. I think it was 2013 or so.
Yeah.
But like, the last Raw show I went to, it was right before Extreme Rules when Brock and Cena were fighting. And I admit I was a Cena fan back in the day. So John Cena shirt and whatever else.
Of course.
But you're talking about like the Raw logo. The theme song was a lot better than what it is now. And say what you will about Nickelback, that's a way better intro song than like Tonight is the Night.
Right. Not that one.
Every time I look, it makes me laugh.
I was
Yeah.
thinking more along the one before that. I forget the theme now.
Oh,
The name of it.
My favorite theme was Papa Roach's. Oh man, I don't even know the song, but it was by Papa Roach. Invincible was good too, but those are my two favorite themes personally. I don't like Nickelback at all, but
I'm trying to think of the
Yeah.
name of the song, and I just cannot bring it to mind. Oh well,
it
whatever.
was
you guys
used
know what I'm talking
during
about.
the like Ruthless Aggression era, right?
Yeah, it was like
Move to the music. Yeah, I
That was a
know.
good one.
Yeah,
that's the one I was. talking
that's
about.
a good one.
And that was like my prime time of wrestling. That's my Attitude Era.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of people they got into wrestling during the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah.
I was basically a wrestling fan at birth. I remember vividly, this wasn't my first time watching wrestling, but I remember vividly that I was sitting on my dad's lap and I was eating a fudgesicle. And I was watching do you guys remember I guess the best way to describe this is when Kane was tagging with RVD and he was it was a period of time when he was feuding with Triple H and the whole Katie Vick thing.
Yeah.
I remember watching a masked Kane match right before he unmasked. I remember that's one of my first memories of wrestling, I think.
Yeah.
Outside of watching WrestleMania 18 and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was almost the same way because one of my the woman who used to babysit me, she had this Hulk Hogan toy, and I used to play with it all the time. And there was a point where I actually stopped watching because I was younger at a time, and I stopped watching just for a weird reason. It was when Hulk Hogan came back as like Mr. America.
Yeah.
That gimmick. And like Vince McMahon was like pissed off about something. He threw something on the ground. I'm like, oh, he shouldn't be doing that. Like, I'm gonna stop watching. And a couple years later, there was someone at like this daycare that I used to go to that was talking about wrestling. And then I found out WrestleMania 23 was going to be in Detroit. And I'm like, hey, I'll give it a watch. And that's when I started to like really get back into wrestling and like knowing what was going on. And like one of the first matches I actually I saw, like my stepdad, he recorded an episode. I don't know if we should say this guy's name, but he faced John Cena in a match at Raw. I'll just say it. It was Chris Benoit. It was Chris Benoit and John Cena.
I want to get into that for sure. That's something I definitely want to talk about.
Oh boy,
the Chris Benoit controversy. Like I am a firm believer. Obviously, what he did was horrible.
Oh, totally, man.
But there's a lot of weird stuff surrounding his situation. And I'm not gonna say I'm into the conspiracy theory of like someone else did it and framed him. Like there's a lot of weird stuff that like surrounds that whole murder suicide situation.
Oh
like,
yeah.
A lot of the evidence could have easily been tampered with, and like a lot of the stuff just doesn't add up. And I'm a firm believer, regardless of how I feel about that. Assuming I'm working under the assumption that he did do it, I think it's important to separate his work and the person he was before that, and the crazed, paranoid maniac that he became.
Oh yeah,
because it's obviously he had some sort of degenerative brain disease that they never came out and openly said that. They said it was concussions, and he had the brain of a 82-year-old Alzheimer's patient or whatever. But like I think it's very important for us as fans and people in general to separate somebody's work from like the way they died if they killed somebody or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing with like Michael Jackson. Obviously, a
Uh-huh.
lot of people believe that he was a rapist. Oh, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Definitely don't ever do that again.
All right,
Both of you.
won't. Sorry.
I'm just kidding. It was a joke. But I don't think he was a rapist, but I think that regardless, we should separate the good that he did for us as music fans or wrestling fans in Chris Benoit's case, or people that, like Bill Cosby in comedy, what he did for comedy. I think it's important to separate their work from the negative things that they've done.
Yeah.
And like take value. Obviously, you don't have to support them monetarily, right?
Oh, yeah.
But like take value in what they've done, like the things that they've accomplished for your respective industry. Respective industry.
Yeah.
I would just like to add that everybody has their own demons, so you can't really add two things together like that, in my opinion. And I don't really consider that Chris Benoit, like what he did at the end of his life, to be Chris Benoit that we all knew.
Absolutely, that's exactly my point.
A lot could have led up to that. I mean, like Dom said, we never know because conspiracy theory. We have Daniel Green here.
Yeah.
Where's Shane Dawson at?
But that's my opinion on it. Like that was two different people.
Absolutely.
Michael Jackson with all that
That's
could
a
have
little
been
different.
a little
Yeah.
different. But something
Same
like
with Bill
that,
Cosby. It's a little different. But
Yeah.
when it comes to people who went crazy, like
Yeah.
stuff led up to that. It's not just like one day he woke up and decided, "Hey, kids, come here."
yeah, or like he was a piece of shit his whole life. Excuse my
Yeah.
French, but he was just like a piece of garbage his entire life and like abused his wife and kids. Like he was a great father and a great husband, according to everyone that knew him, and a nice guy generally.
Yeah.
And from everybody who I heard that like met him, all the fans, whatever they said he was a great guy. He seemed nice. So that's my opinion on it. I mean, I never knew the guy personally. It's not like I stalked him. I was only like 7 at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's my view on it. So
Yeah, I remember when WWE announced his death, and I was
I watched that. I was watching the show.
yeah, like me and my mom, we were like, this was when we still had VHS tapes. Like, don't we feel old? We were we were recording Raw on like one of the spare bedrooms, so we could just watch some other stuff on the big TV. And it was saying like in memory of Chris Benoit and his family. I'm like, what's going on? And I was too young to really understand. And when I actually found out like, oh my gosh, he died. But then like when I started getting older, found out of like how he died. I'm just like, wow. And the thing is, like, we all have our theories and whatever else. Obviously, like, if you look at his tribute statement to Eddie Guerrero, you can tell that broke him.
Exactly, yeah.
It completely shattered him. And everyone has their way of grieving. That's undeniable, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously, like, him wrestling for so many years and
taking all those chair shots and
chair shots and him taking those headbutts.
Yeah.
That will do damage to your brain. It's just like if you're let's say like a musician perspective. Obviously like Michael Jackson, he had the high notes. He barely, he couldn't, his voice was just good. But if you're talking like you can name any metal singer that you want, and whoever has like a high voice, over time their voice starts to deteriorate, so that they become like a different person.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the same way with wrestlers. Like, they got to deal with certain things. They have to deal with obstacles in their way, their own way. And obviously, like, what happened in that situation, it's like beyond messed up, and it
absolutely
was one of the biggest things that changed wrestling as we know it. Because like before he died, that was when like the last big thing that happened was when Vince McMahon went into a limo and his limo exploded.
That was literally the Raw right before the Chris Benoit thing.
Yeah,
it was the
insane.
Raw right before it. I remember watching that too. I was like, oh, this is sad.
Yeah.
Vince's fake dying on TV.
I thought he was gone. I was like, oh no, man.
And Stephanie was saying like, oh, we're going to find out who did this. And they legit like put like an in memoriam of Vince McMahon on there. I'm like, okay, what the hell just happened? And my dad's like, oh, like he's still alive. And I was still...
Yeah,
we were too young at the time.
Yeah, I was in the still. It's still real to me, damn it.
Yeah,
phase. We all have that in our phase, in our life somewhere. But
and I would like to establish too that that's the thing for WWE. If it's a big enough problem like Roman Reigns had, we get to see it. But other than that, like let's say Dominick Panetta, heavyweight champion, had a divorce or something happened, someone died. We don't know about that. It can happen to anybody in there,
right?
And we don't even know what they're going through, so that's another thing too.
Especially from a casual viewer perspective, like me, I have a podcast centered around wrestling, so naturally I'm subscribed to all the news networks, and I watch all the videos on YouTube on what's going on in their lives and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm not like stalking AJ Styles and trying to figure out
exactly
what's going on in his life, but I'm just saying like if his wife died, I would know because that would be on Wrestle Talk or something like that. So. I guess the point I'm trying to say is the casual viewer doesn't know these, like they wouldn't know because that wouldn't be on Raw TV every week.
Yeah.
Like for all the little kids and their parents that watch, which is honestly a majority of their viewers now.
Yeah, a lot.
Is like parents and kids and things like that. So like the hardcore wrestling fans might know, but not the greater public.
Yeah.
So Hunter, your point is completely valid. I agree.
That's the thing. A lot of people, and I'm not hacking on anybody for this because I'm a casual fan, but I understand that there's two different people when we're seeing them in the ring. They put their normal person away when they go out, when they start wrestling, and when they're done, they get to go home to their wife and children if they have one, and something could change, and we would never know about it unless you're Dominick Panetta over here, who's a hardcore wrestling fan.
And it's just like putting like. In like a different scenario, that's like you're playing a different character from yourself in, let's say, like a movie or a theater show. You have to like leave like your
absolutely
you have to leave your side. Like you can mix your personality with that character, but you got to be like something completely different. Like if you're like a happy-go-lucky guy and you want to try out for Hamlet, that ain't really gonna cut it. You got to have. It's weird. That like when people play Hamlet, this is what I've heard. Once an actor plays Hamlet, they're never really the same.
Right? Yeah, because you have to get in that headspace. Yeah, absolutely.
They get so deep into like their character and their mindset that sometimes it can be hard to get there. And obviously, with this was the last thing I'll say about Chris. Obviously, I'm sure he knew he was playing like a different person, and obviously, like him winning the championship at WrestleMania 20, that was a great moment, obviously. And it changed the game a lot. But I mean, yeah, you have to like separate your personal life with your actual character, because if you mix that in or whatever else, like that's gonna leave a lot of questions. So
For your, I definitely see how that could throw somebody off, but a lot of wrestlers have said that like the best character in wrestling is you turned up to 11 or 15.
Yeah.
Like it's like still you. It's just your personality elevated to a theatrical point. But I do understand if you're character acting, if you're like the Undertaker, you are 100% correct, and I would 100% agree. Like even working at a haunted house in October, me and Hunter work at a haunted house.
Yeah.
And obviously I have acting experience, but like obviously I'm a pretty goofy guy, and like for a period of time I played a pretty scary character.
Yeah.
I dubbed him Nelloth the Dreadful. I gave him a name. So that I was at a Burning Witch scene at Blake's Haunted Apple in Armada, Michigan.
Shout out.
Shout out Blake's. And I took a more scary approach to that than a goofy one.
Yeah.
And obviously there's nothing really scary about me as a person. So you have to put yourself away and get into your character and become something else. And that definitely, obviously that's a great creative outlet for somebody. And now I play a much goofier character, Frankenstein's doctor.
There you go.
I have a lot of fun with that. I make people sing Milkshake.
It's alive.
Pretty much. Yeah, I make people sing, "My milkshake brings an immortal young." I literally make people on the wagon sing that. It's hilarious.
There you go.
But even then, it's like putting your own personality away and like becoming someone else. And that does kind of, I'm not going to say it changes you all the time. I'm sure for a bigger project like Hamlet, it does.
Yeah, or even like The Dark Knight with the Joker. Yeah, that
exactly. That
changed
Heath Ledger.
That changed
good.
I mean, not.
It's just getting in someone else's shoes, I guess.
Yeah,
or creating someone in general, and they do live inside of you. Like they totally do. It's weird. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like I can establish I was a clown, so whenever I was on my way to Blake's, I would always get like this little tingly feeling. The clown's coming out, guys. Like it goes away after Halloween, but it comes back out when Halloween comes, and it's just. You can't. It's not like simple math, like 1 + 1 + 2 = 2. It takes a little bit. Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
1 + 1 + 2.
I meant 1 + 1
= 2. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm a genius over here. But it's not as simple as that. It can take a little bit. It took me a few days to get my steps in the get comfortable at Blake's. That was all. But.
Yeah, when you work yourself into that character, and even like we would go to beat-ups after, right? And me and Hunter would get really into it. Tony worked there too. He didn't really get into it because he's Tony. But me and Hunter
have a good one, man.
But me and Hunter really got into it and really like created characters for this. And it's hard to. We were a little quiet at B-dubs every time we'd go and come back because we're still our minds are still kind of there. It's real weird. And it's like that with character. You have acting experience. You would know. Playing certain characters, it's hard to get yourself out of that once you're like deep in it for hours.
Oh yeah, like I mean Dom will know this very well. We were in a play together. We did our school did Clue, and it was pretty much like a remake of the movie Clue with Tim Curry, which is a very funny movie.
Was it 1984, 1983?
Somewhere around there. Yeah, it was. Very good ensemble movie. Yeah. I played Professor Plum, and I'm the exact opposite of who he is. I mean, I'm I'm quirky at times, and I'm a little bit nerdy when it comes to like movies and wherever else. But there ain't no way in hell I don't have his personality of why he was getting blackmailed in it. So I could somewhat choose of like who I kind of am in that. I know that I'm not that type of person, but like but yeah, like you're saying, like someone turns it up to 11. Let's say like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right. Yeah, that's just him. That's just him.
Dude
He turned it up to 11.
Yeah. Swigging beers and flipping people off. Hey, and that's what made his run so great.
I feel like if I saw Stone Cold in real life and saw him like a normal person, I feel like I would just not accept it. I'd be like, yeah, that's not you, man. You can't do that.
Come on, Hunter, give me a hell yeah.
That was a pretty good impression.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, but Hunter, honestly, I don't think you would. That's the thing. I think, like, obviously he's a lot more normal than he is when he's on TV, but I do believe he's like that. Like, if you listen to his podcast, he's really not. You can't put on that character that long on a podcast for that many days. You know?
Apparently he stopped drinking beer, but I feel like at that time he was just, when he got home, he was like, crack open 2 beers, chug them, go on a freaking fire, a fire truck. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name.
With beer in it.
Yeah.
A beer truck and just squirt some people down with beer.
Drop a wrecking ball on a car.
Yeah.
Throwback.
And like a great example of like separating yourself from the character, like obviously for the viewers, like, you can't see my shirt, but I'm wearing a Roddy Piper They Live shirt right now. Badass movie, by the way, if you haven't
Badass
seen
man.
it. Oh, exactly.
Just like me.
Yeah, just like all of us. There you go. Just to be a little equal here. It's America here.
Come on.
Yeah.
So,
You're right.
there was a story that I heard of the Roddy Piper like helped a lady who was mugged and like got the lady's person. Ever since then, like, after that, like he was pretty much over with the fans. Before that, he was a mean mofo, man. Like I remember watching a Piper and Hogan match before WrestleMania started. He came out with, of course, like the bagpipes, and he had like an electric guitar. And when he introduced, I believe it was Howard Finkel, after he introduced Roddy Piper, he legit broke the guitar, and he did with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the examples of him hitting Jimmy Snuka with a coconut.
Right, and he's such a nice. He is crazy. He's a little crazy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the turning yourself up to 11, but he was not. He's such a nice guy.
He
died.
He
but
was a great man. Yeah.
He was an awesome person. Like I really got back into him. He had his own podcast and things like that, and that was like what really got me into podcasts. Was Roddy Piper's podcast.
Really?
Yes, and he's just an awesome guy. I'm really upset I was super upset when he died.
Oh yeah.
Because I literally listened to his podcast every single week. Every time he released one, I listened to it immediately because I really liked him that much. And I watched him on Legends House and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
I watched Legends House because I just wanted to see how he was outside of wrestling, and he became he's top 2 favorite wrestlers ever for me.
Yeah, when I watched Legends House, like he was one of my favorites on there for sure. And I remember the day when I found out that Roddy Piper died. I was in Emily City. I was at the Emily City Fair, and I was waiting in line for a ride, and I checked my phone, and I got a notification saying like famous wrestler Roddy Piper has passed away. I'm like,
The hell?
oh my gosh, yeah. And when I paid as a tribute to him, I posted the famous clip from They Live. I have come here to chew bubblegum part, which badass as it gets, right? And
I still haven't watched They Live all the way through.
Oh,
I have to.
I have it on DVD. We definitely gotta get to.
Yeah, we gotta plan a day. Yeah, for sure.
Like it's not like Dark Knight levels or anything like that, but it is super fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's just a guy who finds a pair of sunglasses and finds out the aliens have taken over the world, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Come chew bubble gum and kick ass.
And I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yeah, it's awesome. He had for a little while there. He had like soda. Like he was endorsed by. He had like Roddy Piper soda, and there was like a bubblegum flavor. Fantastic.
Oh man.
I really want to try some. I still have to buy one of his T-shirts. I really want to buy one of his T-shirts. I was gonna buy. He had one that it just said villain on it, and I don't know why I didn't buy it. I should have. I had the money at the time, and I just didn't buy it. And then he died, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you can find like a shirt of his like on Amazon.
Yeah.
My mom got me one for Christmas. I was debating whether or not if I should wear my They Live shirt or the Piper shirt, or like the Hot Rod shirt.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But hey, I'm still representing Piper, man. Rest in peace, man.
Absolutely. So they closed friggin' Gibraltar down.
Yeah.
I'm upset about that. Very upset. And I passed up on these like limited edition like glasses. They're like Steens, like beer steins.
Yeah.
And they were from like the 1980s or maybe even the 70s. And it was Hogan, Roddy Piper, and Jake the Snake. And I didn't buy them. And they were like $5 a piece. Dude, I should have bought them. I don't know why I didn't, or like, man, that gets me.
Those would have been vintage, I bet you.
I bet they were in perfect condition. They looked like they just came out of the box, and they were at Gibraltar, and I didn't buy them.
I missed Gibraltar.
I was like, oh, I'll go back. I'll come back like in a week and come get them. And
yeah, and then
I never went back after that. They closed.
Yeah, and I've had my memories at Gibraltar. Like there was a comic convention that went there, and I got to see some people there. It was a great place. And when you were talking about getting like rare stuff.
Wait, hang on. For context, Gibraltar was like a trade center here in Michigan.
Yeah.
And it was like amazing. It had everything at it. Like people come in and set up stalls and sell stuff. That's basically what it was. Go ahead. Sorry.
Anybody that lives in the sticks and has a Walmart, that's what Gibraltar is to us. You guys go to Walmart and spend like 5 hours there. I know because I lived in Kentucky with my grandma during the summer, and that's literally like what
you just go hang out in Walmart.
Yeah, we would hang out at Walmart,
Gibraltar,
and we would just go to Gibraltar and live the dream, man. See all this like 10 cent sword. It's like a little plastic, a little bit of metal. You never know, but hey, Gibraltar was great.
Times.
And it would vary from like selling books to selling carpets to even selling hoverboards, because there was a station that
they did sell
hoverboards,
and like knives and vintage video games.
Yeah.
Before there was disc replay, there was that one dude at Gibraltar who had like a corner stall, and you would walk in there and there was like a bunch of vintage video games.
He had everything. Yeah.
He probably got put out of business,
which sucks. But
that
they also had a lot of good rare like cards, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, stuff like that.
And there's nowhere like that around here.
Yeah, there's not. No,
you can't even go anywhere and find a Pokemon. I mean, you probably could have. I mean, like like some card place, but not like Gibraltar.
Yeah.
Gibraltar had everything from A to Z.
And there were like you could get like swipes there. You could basically get steals because people would rent the stalls. If let's say instead of having a garage sale, they had a little bit more money and a little bit more stuff. So they went to Gibraltar. You could go. Me and my dad found some vintage Sting masks, latex, from the WCW days, like 1997, circa 1997, and they were worth like $300.
Whoa!
And we picked them up for like $5 a piece.
Oh
I
my
still have them.
gosh.
I still have. They're awesome. I should wear one for Halloween this year. I should be Sting for
there
Halloween.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we have the black and white, and then the Wolfpack black and red.
Oh, that is sweet, dude.
I got my wrestling figures from Gibraltar as well. When I was into wrestling figures.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple figures from there. You were saying that you were going to get some old
Vintage,
wrestling glasses, right?
Beer steins, awesome.
So I'm going to kind of tell you guys a kind of a cool story here. So I don't know exactly what grade I was in. I was probably in 7th or 8th grade. I got off the bus and my mom picked me up, and she told me that Macho Man Randy Savage passed away. And I was just like, wow. Like, I was in shock.
Yeah.
And like finding out how he passed away was just like, wow. Like, I used to look up to him. Mm-hmm. So we go to Walmart and we were buying some stuff, and my mom wanted to return something.
Yeah.
And right in the return aisle, there was, like, how WWE has these like WWE Legends action figures, right?
Yeah.
In one of the return carts, there was a unopened Macho Man action figure.
No way.
Right in the cart. I'm like, Ma, we have to have this. We gotta get it. Mm-hmm. And it was the day that he passed away, and my mom was just like, yeah, we gotta get it. I still have not taken that action figure out of the box.
Have you looked it up and like seen if it's worth anything?
No, I haven't. I really should.
Are you talking about that? Was it at the stall with the guy that had all the pictures of him and the wrestlers at the stall? It was like he had cards and like wrestling action. You know who I'm talking about, Hunter?
You said Walmart.
Huh?
Yeah, I got the action figure at Walmart. But
Walmart. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking.
For the
I was still on
Gibraltar
Gibraltar.
thing, I do remember. I think I do remember it from there. Yeah, and I've gotten action figures from there as well.
Yeah, there was this guy that like he's kind of heavier. He had a ponytail and a beard. Mm-hmm. Dark hair. His hairline was receding a little bit. He had pictures with everybody, like Test, X-Pac.
Oh my god!
All of like the old Stone Cold, all of the old school Triple H. Everybody. He had pictures with everybody, and he was like at his stall, and he had like a glass display case of all his most valuable. He had a championship belt, an actual championship belt from Ric Flair. Like he had Ric Flair's championship belt. He took all the jewels out of it, obviously, but it was a real. It was from like I think it was the big gold belt.
Huh.
The WCW championship that turned into the World Heavyweight Championship.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure I had one of those. It was just like the coolest place ever, and I'm so upset that it shut down.
Yeah.
And people still went. I don't know why they closed it.
People like Gibraltar. I don't know why they decided to get rid of it. Maybe just because, like, I don't know, it's more cheaper quality stuff. I mean, you can
Well,
find
it
good
wasn't.
stuff
Some of
there,
it wasn't though. Like
yeah, like there was some good
they had a
knives,
whole like
there was some good
big time RC shop there too.
Yeah,
It was
they were selling guns there. And
they had gun shows.
Yeah,
gun
and
shows
there
were there
is,
like every Saturday. They had bike shows.
and there is even people that would like help you like kind of relieve stress. Like they would prescribe you tea. Like for like relaxing
really?
mind. Yeah, I actually had it happen to me before.
Really?
Yeah, and it helped me a lot. Like back in the day. Yeah, like I drink the tea like every once in a while. Like before that, my mom would have me drink like the Palmer tea.
Yeah,
I'm
Arnold
just
Palmer.
like, I'm like, man, I'm not a tea person. I wrote a script, like a movie script, and I put in like one of the members, like one of the characters I wrote, and it's like, yeah, tea is just not my thing, man.
Right.
But now, like having like the relaxing mind stuff is just like, wow, like this can help someone out. Yeah.
Another one of my favorite things about Gibraltar, it's kind of funny. I mean, it is completely funny. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. It could just be me. But the smell when you walk in Gibraltar.
Oh, yeah.
Special. Like, it's just like,
There's no
other smell like it.
It's
Gibraltar.
unreplicated. You
Yeah.
can't, because you got to understand, right? They sold pets there. They gave you tattoos there. They had a tattoo parlor. They had a pet adoption center.
Yeah.
They had everything there.
They literally had and you got all those like old stuff smells from the books and like the people that are selling. They're just like a garage sale there. It's like it's crazy. You get it was just a great place. I'm so upset that it closed. I know
It was like
eight
Amazon
times, but
for us.
yeah, it was a better version of Amazon in my opinion.
I don't know about better.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much Amazon, but it's like
Right in front of you.
Right in front of you.
And now that we're into Dungeons and Dragons, dude, I bet you they had so much stuff like that there.
I bet you they did have
Yeah.
D&D stuff there.
Yeah, dude. I wish I could go back there.
Yeah. We got to find somewhere like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But a question just popped in my head.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have any of you guys met any wrestlers at any point in time? Like, do you have any stories of that? If so,
I can already answer this for you. Never.
no.
I don't think I've met any wrestlers, man. You know what? My dad met Batista one time.
Really?
Batista. We were at a wrestling show, but this is heel Batista, Evolution Batista.
Yeah.
And my dad was trying to get an autograph for me, and Batista just looked at him and just walked away.
Well, I mean, for
Sounds
that,
like something that would happen to your dad.
yeah. I
So he
mean,
holds a grudge against Batista.
I completely understand that. And
Oh man, that's funny.
I mean, was it like right when he was about to leave?
I don't know. I really don't know.
that
because-
sounds like something that would happen to your dad too.
Yeah. I know.
Because I mean, like for that, I would kind of understand. Like, I've met like a couple wrestlers that weren't like really that nice. Like I met Virgil. He was.
Virgil's a dick. Everyone hates
Oh
Virgil.
yeah, like he had his arms crossed the entire time and he was yawning and whatever else. But there is. I actually, you guys might be jealous by this. I actually met Hulk Hogan.
No way, dude.
I did.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Me and my mom went to C2E2 and I didn't actually meet him kind of like the right way almost. There was someone I met in line like an hour or two before I was supposed to meet him, and they were waiting in line for Hogan to come in. And like I was just like, I saw Hulk Hogan just like signing autographs. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this was my favorite wrestler back in the day.
Right, yeah.
I was amazed.
Me too, man.
And my mom's like, oh, get in line. I'm like, Mom, how can I get in line? Like, it's like super packed. And my mom's like, oh, well,
Just cut.
yeah, like, because,
Did you actually?
yeah, because the
Dude, it
person,
doesn't matter.
yeah, the person that I talked to like an hour or two before was almost like right at the front of the line.
Oh my god, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I had them go first, whoever else, and I had and I went next, and of course I was quick. I was there like 30 seconds to a minute. I don't even really remember what I was talking about because I was like so starstruck from them.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But to give you guys some context, like this is when
Hey, brother.
let me tell you something, brother. Right? He had the red and yellow attire on, and
Were those his gladiator days?
Gladiator. Like, how do you
That show. Remember he had. The,
Oh yeah,
Gladiator.
no. This
forgot about
was
that.
this was like years after. That was like 2012 or so. Like that's when I met him. And I was wearing like my Green John Cena shirt. I was a Cena fan back in the day, and that leads to a whole nother story. And I was just like, I met him and I shook his hand, and Jimmy Hart was there, and it was sweet. And
that's awesome.
Going to the John Cena shirt thing, I went to Chicago like 2 years in a row, and both the years Ken Anderson was there, Mr. Kennedy, that guy. And
I'm sorry, hang on, I gotta do that right. Mr. Kennedy. Sorry for the ear rape warning.
Sorry. We'll
in post. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we'll
delete that one.
Sorry, you guys made me do it.
Yeah, you had to.
So when I met him, like me and my mom had to pay like $25 to get a picture of him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not liking your John Cena shirt." And he was throwing shade, and of course I did the "you can't see me" thing at him. And one of the other memorable ones, like I met like Kevin Nash was at both.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, he was at both conventions when I was there, and it was just him the first time. Me and my mom, we took a picture with him. I don't think he really even charged anything.
What a guy, Kevin Nash.
Yeah. And I was like side by side with him. I'm like, oh, like I'm almost at like his shoulder length or whatever.
Was he sitting down?
No. He was sitting up. But of course, pictures, they change things, right? So I see him the next year. He recognizes my mom.
Really?
I'm like,
of course he does that.
Yeah,
that
big,
bastard.
sexy.
Yeah.
And
that monster of a man.
Yeah. And Scott Hall and X-Pac were with him.
No way.
And when I saw them, I gave him the Wolfpack sign, and one of the guys that was standing next to me was like, "Oh, I'm getting the hell out of here, man." And I asked for a picture with Kevin Nash, and I wanted to do a face-to-face. And no, I did not wear my John Cena shirt for this picture. I have my purple Macho Man shirt. And I can show you guys this picture when we're done.
Yeah, you definitely have to.
So we did a face-to-face. I don't know if I got shorter or he got taller the last time I saw him. This guy is towering over me.
Yeah, he's like 6'8", man.
Yeah, he's staring right in my face, and literally I can only see like a little bit like across his nose, and he's just like hovering at me. And like we're doing this for like a couple seconds or whatever. And I don't know how long I'm gonna be. I don't know how long I can do this for. It's kind of scary.
Right, I'd be terrified.
But then all of a sudden, here's the Shyamalan twist. He sticks his tongue out at me. I'm not kidding. He legit like, what?
Pinch it.
No, I didn't do that. But like, he laughed at it. But I'm just kind of like, whoa. Like, I know Kevin Smith. I don't know if I know he was joking. But I tell you what, man, if he legit wanted to kiss me, there would have been no way I would have been able to avoid it because he was just towering like right over me.
Listen, man, I would kiss Kevin Nash.
Really?
I would kiss Kevin Nash. I'd kiss him right now. If he was right here and asked me to kiss him, I'd kiss him right now.
Well, if you're listening to this, Kevin Nash, you got a big fan here at Hell's Gate Podcast.
Kevin Nash, I love you.
Yeah.
He ain't asking. He's demanding.
Listen, all I'm saying is, if you've seen Magic Mike, you know what I'm talking about, all right?
I personally haven't seen any of those movies. Sorry, audience.
Yeah, same here. I'm
just kidding.
Or
am I?
Take part to that. But, yeah.
I don't care. It's just two bros. Just two bros kissing, Sometimes you just got to do it that way.
Yeah.
It's just bro stuff.
Just bro stuff.
Yeah.
Bro things.
Kind of to segue to, like, the bro thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys see a lot of bro stuff in wrestling nowadays? Kind of like the dude bros, kind of?
Yeah. Why am I forgetting his name? The King of Bros in NXT. MMA guy. Why? Matt Riddle. There it is.
Matt Riddle, yeah.
There's my brain. How you doing, brain? Good to see you. I was just thinking about Kevin Nash and Magic Mike. That's what it was.
One of the only like dude bros I could like think of. He's not in WWE yet, but like Eli Drake, I could see him as like a dude bro guy. Like even by like the way he talks.
What do you mean by a dude bro guy?
Like dude, bro.
Not the dude, man. Whoa. Not like the Keanu Reeves type. Respect to him, of course.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, but just like a guy that's like really like tough and like you believe. He can
just like a
kick your
manly
ass.
man. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
you. There are
you
plenty
can-
of guys like that.
Yeah, like
me.
I thought you meant like bruh,
yeah,
have a good one, dude.
yeah.
Hey, drive safe, man.
Like where I'm kind of going with this is like let's say like AJ Styles, like he's not like the ultimate like tough guy, obviously,
Right,
but
yeah.
he's like the family man guy, but you can still kind of relate to him, kind of. But because I know you're a fan of the New Day,
Yeah.
right?
New Day.
Yeah. They were kind of like right when they were starting to do like the unicorn stuff. The moment where I almost like started changing the channel on these guys was when they came out in the on like these like kid horses.
Yeah.
And they had like the Sally hats from Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Of course.
Yeah, and I just wasn't a fan of them, and of course, in the new company that's coming up, Kenny Omega. I don't know if I told you this. There was like a build up to an AEW video on their YouTube page, and Brandy Rhodes, who is Cody Rhodes, is a very lucky man, by the way.
Yeah,
very lucky guy. She kissed Kenny Omega. I don't know how or why she did, but like they did like this backstage segment where I forgot the dude's name, but he asked Kenny Omega like, "Oh, how was it?" And Kenny Omega was saying like, "Oh yeah, it was pretty good, man." I mean, obviously,
Yeah. Hey, just bro stuff, man.
Yeah.
Kiss my girlfriend. It's fine.
yeah,
I hope my girlfriend doesn't listen to this podcast.
yeah,
Discover my love for
yeah.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah,
You know she does.
I know.
yeah.
I'll, I'll tell her.
Damn.
But like,
Sorry, Kiera.
Yeah, but where I'm going with this is that, yeah, you have like guys like Eli Drake or even Braun Strowman. He's like a big buff dude that you can believe that you can kick your butt, right? But like if you look back in the day, and obviously times have changed, I understand that. But if you got people like Batista, you got guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Yeah.
even The Rock, those guys, like, they brought you into a show. Like, they didn't have to do, like, obviously people like Jeff Hardy, that dude can still talk on the mic, but a lot of his wrestling abilities brought people into those shows, obviously, because he's Jeff Hardy.
Right.
But what I've noticed from a lot of today's wrestling, I know I'm kind of going off, but this will lead somewhere.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just wrestling moves, and they're not really telling a story, right?
You're 100% correct. Couldn't agree more.
That.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
So here's like a good example of that. Can you imagine if there was no story behind the WrestleMania 3 match with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant? Can you imagine that?
It would still be a cool match, but it would not be.
It would not
what
have the
was.
same effect.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you guys don't know, like, I was thinking of this yesterday, of like the storytelling that they were doing with that match. Right at the beginning, Hulk Hogan was so pumped up and he was ticked off at Andre for ripping his shirt off and ripping off the crucifix. And he wanted to body slam Andre right from the beginning. And Andre fell onto Hulk Hogan, and the match just escalated from there. It was Andre just beating up Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He almost suplexed him, or almost pile drived him onto concrete, right? Mm-hmm. Then he put him in the bear hug, which not a lot of people do the bear hug, which...
Only big guys can do the bear hug.
Exactly.
Man.
Shout out to me.
Yeah, there you go. And you know what? I'm sure if you gave me a bear hug, you would squeeze my breath away, dude.
Can you imagine Andre the Drummond? I mean,
Andre the Drummond.
Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant just walking in here, and granted, he would come back from the dead, but he would just walk in here and grab any one of us and just squeeze us. I know I would just bend instantly and just die.
I feel like Andre the Giant's skeleton could whoop my ass. I think his corpse could kill me.
But so like throughout almost the entire match, Andre was working over Hogan and he gave him the bear hug, and of course Hogan was a great seller. Like he could sell like a bigger guy jumping on him and
At that
act
time?
like he
Yeah, at that
they
time,
broke
yeah,
his
he
ribs,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely could at that time.
You
Yeah,
guys remember that Shawn Michaels?
Sorry, say that again. I had you muted.
Sorry, you remember that Shawn
yawning.
Michaels and Hulk Hogan?
Oh.
Or Shawn Michaels freaking oversold.
Overselling.
Sorry, that just came to my mind, and I was just like, that's so funny.
It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
that yeah. So, yeah, it wasn't that big of like a big on story wherever else, but like if they didn't have like that story to it,
Yeah.
it would just be two guys, just going at it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say like I rewatched this match with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dude Love, right? And Vince McMahon was the special guest referee, and only he could do the 1, 2, 3 count, only by his hands.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I thought like, okay, that's kind of weird, but they kept in mind. Like Vince said, I can only finish the match with my hand.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yes, and when Mick Foley hit Vince in the head with a chair, which he took clean, by the way, like there was
no putting hands up. Yep.
brutal shot.
That's
And
probably a contributing factor.
yeah,
The
and
Benoit situation.
yeah, in Undertaker, he took out Pat Patterson and Briscoe and whatever else. He was the enforcer in that match. Badass stuff, right? And it was all cleared up, and Austin's like, well, they got almost every single referee has come up like, oh, wait a minute. He said only by his hands, so he had Vince's hand do the 1, 2, 3. That is great storytelling there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, there's I've seen like a couple of clips from women's TNA match. They had like a hardcore match. They were just doing spots.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the build for them, which respect for the ladies, getting the opportunities. That's awesome for them.
Yeah,
right?
especially with the hard. I would love to watch that.
Yeah.
I should look that up. Like their hardcore match. I'm waiting for something like big to go on with WWE and like their women's division when it comes to like Hell in a Cells, hardcore matches, ladder matches. They can do it.
Yeah.
They can. They're better than the men right now. I'd be willing to say that I am much more interested in the women's storylines than anything going on in the men's division right now.
Yeah.
Easily.
So
I get what you're saying about the storytelling, though. It's completely gone by the wayside, and obviously me and Tony have been on here a million times, telling them like that is an issue and they need to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree, especially in the ring, the storytelling is kind of gone.
Yeah,
it's improving, but outside of the ring, it's just really even worse than.
Yeah, because like there's rival wrestlers like Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. They're being spotted like on like a vacation spot. Like they're not. I mean, obviously we all know
it's a little different now. But
we all know it's planned out. Like we're all, we've all grown up. It's not like a Peter Pan situation, but we've realized it. But still, you kind of have to have that believability almost. Like with
even if it's like I don't have that big of a problem with the vacation stuff, but it's like you have to make it seem like you actually dislike each other when you're on TV.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you were, me and you were going back and forth yesterday, and I heard like the predictions. Like, Hunter, have you heard about like all the stuff Ronda Rousey has been doing?
Yes, of course. I was about to mention that.
Yeah.
I cannot stand this 4-year span, maybe longer, shorter, I don't know, span of Ronda Rousey just being pushed. You could just have her go against Braun Strowman, and she would just punch him once, and he would die. Like I feel like that's what they would do, and I can't stand. I love Ronda Rousey.
It definitely hasn't been 4 years, which makes it even worse.
Yeah. I love her in UFC. But
it's been like a year and a half at most.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But where I'm going with like the believability thing, I know like she's really like irritating you, and I completely understand why.
Yeah, it's agitating me.
Like, and I told you about like her shirt design.
Yeah.
And she said like down with the man, right? And she had this third
Screw the
shirt.
woo.
Yeah.
No more Miss Nice Bitch.
Yeah, no more nice bitch. Did you hear about that before, Hunter? Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that. I can't stand this Ronda Rousey thing.
Yeah, but the thing with that is like she kind of is doing her job, and she's actually kind of being herself.
Yeah, which helps, but it's just she just irritates me.
Yeah,
and she's not that good in the ring. She's terrible on the mic. Like, and she's going on with these catchphrases and like these punchlines and buzzwords, and like it's so obviously forced. Like, just be authentic. It just agitates me. I know Hunter's got an opinion. Go ahead, Hunter. Go off.
I love Ronda Rousey UFC style, but I feel like I could go in the ring right now and give a better promotion than her. Any day. You could just wake me up in the like at 2 in the morning and I could do it. I'd be like, sure.
Fired.
Yeah, why not? I don't think she's that good of a wrestler either. And
the arm drag of doom.
Yeah. It's just, I'm going to grab your arm and I'm going to break it. And you're going to look at him 10 times in the eye and say, I'm going to break it. I'm going to break it. Just do it or make it a little bit more believable because it's really annoying.
And her arm breaker sucks.
Yeah, especially.
Like, it's obviously she's just twisting her arm and then, like, having her bend her elbow.
In my least
favorite, if she did that once or twice ever, like where it looked like she actually broke her arm and just like had them sit on the shelf for a little while, like get some vacation time or something like that. Like that would be much better than her current armbar finisher, which just sucks.
And my least favorite thing with her is when she squares up and she like does like all those little quick punches
that look terrible.
You know you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
She's like
she's like
and the guy you guys in the corner. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's horrible.
Sorry,
no, it's good. And like for like the whole armbar thing, look at Brock Lesnar when he puts on those. Like,
the Kimuras and stuff.
You believe like he's gonna break somebody's arm.
That's because he's actually doing it.
Yeah, that is what he's doing. Yeah,
Brock's crazy.
Yeah, and we were talking about like bringing your. This is a great podcast for bringing everything together here.
Yeah.
For like bringing in like separation of character and whatever else, you can say the same thing about Daniel Bryan. Obviously he's exaggerating on the stuff, but he believes a lot of the stuff that he's saying.
Yeah, especially with like his new vegan gimmick and stuff.
Yeah. And I've seen promos of him doing that, and it's annoying as hell.
Yeah, it is.
Super annoying.
Yeah, it is.
And like, obviously they're doing it for a purpose, but they're doing it in enough to where you almost kind of just like, okay, what else is going on? Like, let's say like Truck Night in America. That's an actual show.
I know. I watch it.
Yeah, it's a fun show. It's people in the South like driving big trucks.
Dude, that show is awesome.
Okay, so explain this. I have no idea what this is.
All right, you want to take this, Hunter?
Yeah,
go ahead and explain.
So the first episode I watched, it's just 4 hicks, right? No offense, but 4 guys.
You're a hick. What are you saying? No offense.
I know. That's not just anybody listening. I'm a hick too. It's just 4 guys, and they get these trucks, and they bring in competitors, or sometimes it's just themselves, and they help them customize the truck, and they do all these challenges, and most of the challenges are all the same. At least with like the last 4 episodes I watched, they've all been the same. It's just same old ramps, and it's, let's say you get a 1970 Ford pickup versus a 2018 Chevy Silverado and a Dodge Ram from 2005. Like, they'll do anything to these trucks, and it's so fun. It's a great show, but if you're not into that stuff, I'm not forcing you to watch it. I'm just saying, yeehaw, man.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
It's a very fun show.
It sounds fun.
Yeah. Like, I have it recorded. You can come over later and we'll watch it.
All right, bet.
Yeah, one of the last episodes I saw was there was a husband and wife competing against each other.
Yeah.
And by the way, the wife, that guy was a very lucky guy. But she was being competitive with them, so they were kind of telling a story there that no matter who wins, they're obviously going to be bringing money in.
Yeah,
and I won't give away of like what happened if you guys want to see it. But there is, they still loved each other, but they were still competing.
Right. Yeah.
And all these obstacles, like you're kind of feeling of like what the race, the competitors are thinking.
Yeah.
You're like,
right.
all right, we're rooting for you, whatever else. And that's kind of like what. Let's say like Walking Dead, like they had a problem with, if you guys can't tell, I haven't like Walking Dead in a while. They had a hard time making you care for some of the good guys in like the past couple seasons. Like Daryl,
Hunter can definitely touch on this.
Yeah.
Hunter's like a huge Walking Dead fan.
Like Daryl was one of my all-time favorite characters. He was the silent Bob of the group. But he was badass every time he was on screen.
It's pretty much just like watching a live video of me,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's literally how I am in real life. Just walking around with a crossbow, yeehaw.
Yeah.
Except for the badass part.
Yeah, I don't even know how to ride a bike either, so I can't drive a motorcycle. But
so many
Hunter
shots.
does not know how to ride a bike.
Yeah, I'll admit it right now. I have a picture of me with my mom at Mackinac Island, and we had we had to get the adult tricycle. And
how long ago was this?
That was last summer. I hold no shame either. It was a great. I have the picture. I'll show you later. But I hold no shame. Mike LaFada can justify because I sent him a picture of it. So that's my opinion on that. And whoever hates on me not riding an adult bike, listen. I bet I can beat you in a race. Okay.
On your tricycle?
Yeah, on my tricycle, on my adult tricycle. I was a speed demon. I was like,
Speed demon.
it was like, how old? I'm 20.
How old am I? I'm 20. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm doing some math. Actually, I am doing math.
He's really counting on his
So,
fingers right now. He's counting
So,
on
like,
his
at
fingers.
age 8 is when I stopped riding a bike. So, 8 plus 20. I don't know how to do that. But
Well, 8 plus 20 is 28 for the record.
20 minus 8, do that math. That's the longest. That's been the longest time since I rode a bike.
12?
12. It's
There
been
you
12
go.
years
Yeah.
since I drove a bike.
But anyways, for like the Daryl thing, like great segue to your story on bikes, Hunter. Man. That's great. But the writers, they really screwed with Daryl's character up because he was trying to be the lone wolf and legit like screwed up like the plan that the main group was doing it. And of course, Rick, he wasn't really that likable in the past couple
At
seasons.
that particular time?
Yeah. And you want to talk about like continuity. There was a fight between Rick and Negan. It was the mid-season finale.
That was a
right?
horrible fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very short, but you know what? Negan throwing Rick out of the window, that is what you call badass stuff right there. The thing that ruined it for me was I know that editing, like you gotta like have like a certain, time, for like each episode, right? Mm-hmm. But are you telling me that after Rick got pushed out of a window, fall so hard on his back, can just get up and just run away? Are you kidding me?
I guess so.
I mean, Walking Dead logic, and they didn't show any pain or anything like that. He just went up, and he went, and Negan,
man.
yeah.
Logan, if that bugs you, you should have watched yesterday's episode. That was crazy.
Yeah,
I won't say anything because it's a spoiler. So, just heads up for that. I'm a huge spoiler guy.
Oh,
but, yeah.
I've heard that Walking Dead has been going into some controversial waters again.
Yeah, they're getting back into what they're never going to be what they were like season 1 through like 4.
Yeah,
but they're making it a decent show again. So that's my view.
Which is a positive. And on that note, speaking of episode length, we've been talking for an hour and 11 minutes, and it did not seem like that at all.
Not at all.
We've just been just three guys hanging out in the studio, just hanging and having a good time. So on that note, we should probably end the episode. Thank you guys so much for coming in. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks,
it's always
Panetta.
a pleasure. No problem. Anytime you guys want to get back on, you just let me know.
Heck
I'll
yeah.
work something out.
Shout out to Tony for not being here. But
Yeah, shout out Tony.
miss you, dude.
Honestly, I didn't even tell him we were coming in here today.
Yeah, so-
I told him that I was like, hey, so we're going to try and get in the studio at this time. And he was like, oh, no, man, I have a basketball game. I was like, all right. So I just ended up showing up here.
Yeah, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, a man's got to do what he's got to do, man.
Yeah, he's just trying to
good
stay
for
in his,
you, man.
He's trying to stay in his athletic prime, but it's going by the way. So he's an old man. So
I would just like to say something real quick. Nick Foles just got signed to the Jags for 4 years, $33 million. Sorry.
wow,
Yeah.
Nick Foles, the Jags. Very interesting.
Oh, and before we
That's
go, I'll say this for like a little football thing. If the Detroit Lions get Cody Parkey as their field goal kicker, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm just gonna let that sink in there. That'll be my closing statement there.
Well, buy some T-shirts or some hoodies or pillows.
Yes.
Or whatever. Buy some merchandise. I'll link the T-shirt, our merch store, in the description.
Get your merch, gang.
Get your merch, gang.
Yes.
Once I get this next job, that's the first thing I'm buying. I'm gonna buy a pillow and a sweatshirt.
All right. So I know Logan said he's gonna. And if you guys have any ideas, both of you and everybody listening,
Yes.
you just let me know. And if I like the idea, we'll make it into a T-shirt. We've already had a couple people have some ideas. My dad had an idea. He's got a T-shirt and a sweatshirt and hoodie and stuff like that. And our a good friend of the show, Daniel Green, Daniel Bartholomew Green, has.
That's not his actual middle name, is it?
No, he doesn't have a middle name.
Okay.
I don't think. Maybe he does. I don't know. I've only ever seen Daniel Green, and I grew up with the guy, so I'm assuming he doesn't have a middle name.
So have I.
Just like Mike LaFada.
There you go.
Every time I see Mike, I just insert a random middle name when I see him.
Michael James Lafata.
Exactly. I just insert a new one every time. Anyway, yeah, Daniel had an idea about a white shirt with an orange logo. Mm-hmm. So we got that cracking for him. It's on the store right now. Like I said, link's gonna be in the description below wherever you're at. And obviously follow our socials. You know them by now. Hell's Gate Podcast everywhere. Hell's Gate PC on Twitter, Snapchat.
And I'll tell you guys this after looking at teespring.com/Hellsgate. The prices are very reasonable for you guys.
We're giving to them at cost. So
very reasonable.
I just looked on the website today. Their prices are fine. So
our cheapest T-shirt is it's just a black shirt with red Hell's Gate logo, $12.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it costs us.
Can't get better than that.
We're giving them to you at cost because to us, your support means more than money. Like it's priceless to us. So if we see you wearing a shirt, you're supporting us in one way, not monetarily, but you're supporting us in a way that matters so much more by spreading our brand and showing support for us as individuals and for the podcast. So thank you for people who have bought merchandise already. We've sold since we've had it up for
what, 5
like
days?
a day, maybe.
A day.
Yeah, we announced it yesterday at 4:00, and we've got 6 or 7 buys already on stuff. So thank you for that, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So buy our stuff, wear it. It's your new lucky shirt. Wear it every single day. And
I like your shirt, man.
Have a nice day.
Have a great day. Have a great night.
Take care, guys.
Love
have a good
you all.
night. Have a good morning.
We were here with Logan Hunter and your boy, D Swizzle,
Dominick Panetta.
All right. Thanks again. Thanks for listening. And go follow us and buy our stuff. Thanks. Bye.